Hello, crafty friends. I'm Lien from Studio Kato, and I'm so happy you're joining me again today. Today I'm back with another cute and bright Christmas card for reverse confetti. I made it rainbow again. I just couldn't resist. And I started out with the Polar Party stamp set from Reverse Confetti. So it has all these critters and it also has this string of lights. Now I'm going to stamp a patterned background with that string of lights, and I thought I would do it with my Misty for some reason, but that would have taken me ages. So I just used the insert foam from the Misty because that will give you a better impression if you stamp on that. So I just put that under my piece of cardstock, and this is watercolor cardstock. It's Canson Moval 200 GSM. And I'm just stamping on there with Versamark ink. Yes, Versamark ink. Any clear embossing ink will do. I did speed this up quite a bit. I spent in real time 3 minutes stamping this background, and I did make it bigger than I needed it to be, so I could trim it down with a rectangle die. Now, I first trimmed it down with this one, but I will cut it even smaller later, so the size will be quite a bit smaller than my original panel. On a scrap piece of Canson Moval 200 GSM watercolor cardstock, I am stamping some of the critters from the set in VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and I'm just using my Misty for those, but I only had to stamp it twice. I got a really nice impression the first time around. And I'm embossing those with WOW Clear Gloss Superfine Embossing Powder. This gives it a nice glossy shine to the line art, but it also makes it easier to color. I forgot to mention that I embossed these strings of lights with a silver embossing powder. This is the WOW Metallic Silver embossing powder, and I just sprinkled that all over, then heat set it off screen, and now I'm watercoloring in the lights. I'm going in rainbow order, but painting all the yellow lights first, then all the orange ones. This just speeds up the process a little bit. And I am first just painting in the lights, and once I've colored everything in with my watercolors, I can go back in with just some water on a clean brush, and I can just take a tiny bit of that color that is in the lights where I painted it first and go outside of the lines to get that little aura of light around it. This just gives a really light halo effect around the light bulbs. You can do this a lot more precise than I did, but overall I spent quite a bit of time on this card already, and I just did my coloring quite quickly for once. I didn't fuss around with it too much, and I went for a more loose watercolor look, which is not usually what I go for, but I thought these critters would look perfect with it. So usually I paint my critters with a lot of layers to get a nice deep shadow and everything like that, and a nice clean finish too, but I didn't bother with it today. I just wanted to do this quickly and have fun coloring with it. So I just painted it in almost one layer, I think. I think I went in a couple more times, but I didn't let it dry in between, so it doesn't count. I'm using a lot of the colors that I used in the lights in their little accessories, and then that's it really. There's not much to this coloring. I just had fun. I mix my own colors though, especially for critters. I find that really helpful because it just lets me choose a lot of browns and get a nice warm tone for these bears, and even for the penguin. I didn't just color the penguin in black. I gave her a little pink belly, and I mixed brown in with the black so it would be quite a bit warmer. And then for the bright colors, I also mixed those. I mixed in some opera pink with the purple to get it really nice and bright. And I've never used this pink actually. It's a really nice bright pink, but I'm always scared of it because it's basically fluorescent. I used the coordinating dies to cut them out. I did not have a lot of time today. I used the coordinating dies. I never do that, but it worked out quite well this time. And then I also used this little ornament die, also by Reverse Confetti. This is the ornament confetti cuts, and I'm just using it as a frame, so I cut it 3 times out of thick white cardstock and once out of a silver glitter cardstock. And then I just layered those together with the Bearly Art Precision Craft Glue. Now, that was me laying everything out and deciding that my panel was still too big. So I cut it down, and that will leave a nice white margin all the way around the panel to frame everything nicely. I propped the panel up on some cardboard to give it some dimension, and I glued my ornament die cuts, my ornament die cut on there, and then I used some foam tape to prop up all the critters. I also stamped a sentiment stamp, or a sentiment strip rather, that says Warm Holiday Wishes. It's a sentiment from the Polar Party stamp set, and I embossed that with the same WOW metallic silver embossing powder that I used for the string lights. As a finishing touch, I am using some gems by Pinkfresh Studio. I believe the color listed in the description below because it's escaping me right now. But I glued those on with Nuvo Deluxe adhesive because that's quite a bit stronger than the Bearly Art Precision Craft Glue. For a matching envelope, I went for the brightest yellow in my stash. I did choose a warm yellow though. I much prefer that over a colder yellow. And I folded an A2 size envelope out of that with my We Are Memory Keepers 123 punch board. I reinforced the score lines with my bone folder before adhering it together with the Bearly Art Precision Craft Glue. And then I'm taking that bear, again the largest bear that I used on my card from the Polar Party stamp set, and I'm stamping that onto my envelope with the Versamark ink again. I'm going to do some tone-on-tone look for the envelope because the card is quite busy, so I wanted my envelope to be a little bit more subtle. And my favorite tone-on-tone effect is just stamping in clear embossing ink and then using clear gloss superfine embossing powder by WOW to emboss this, and it gets nice and shiny. It's very noticeable, but it's still a really subtle tone-on-tone look. And that finishes up my card for this week for Reverse Confetti. You can find more information on their blog. I will leave it linked in the description below. And you can also find more inspiration there from the other designers. I highly recommend you check out the Reverse Confetti blog. There are a bunch of challenges on there as well, so that's fun too. And there is soon a new release coming, and the sneak peeks will be on there as well. I say soon, it's still a couple weeks away, but you can never be too early. I hope you like this bright, colorful Christmas card. I really do. I'm really happy with how this turned out. And if you liked it, leave a like on this video as well. I hope you leave your thoughts in the comments below and that you subscribe to my channel for more videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.